Shukla sir.
Yeah, I am ready.
So I think the time is there. I think we should start.
Okay.
So I'll introduce you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Pritesh Makar on behalf of Babaria Institute of Technology and Society of Power Engineers Baroda chapter. Welcome you all to this webinar, which is jointly organized by BIT under SSIP and SPE. We have had a lot of negative news about what is happening, how many people have died and all. So we thought that why not to have some positive, life-changing things for us. So this seminar is basically aimed to know about that what good is coming, because whatever is there, all the problems are there. We are already facing it very, fighting with that COVID-19 very in a nice manner, and we shall continue to do the same. But as people are talking about that, it is going to be the future will be talking about what was the time before COVID-19 and after COVID-19. जैसे आपने सुना होगा हमारे ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स बात कर रहे थे आज़ादी के पहले ये होता था, आज़ादी के बाद तो हो सकता है जब हमारे ग्रैंड चाइल्ड होंगे हम उनसे इस तरह से बात करेंगे कि कोविड से पहले ये था, कोविड के बाद ये हुआ. तो क्या हो सकता है, क्या opportunities है, क्या challenges है, उसके बारे में आज two great speakers we have. So first speaker we have is very senior, very learned J.C. Shukla sir. J.C. Shukla sir का introduction देना सूरज को दिया दिखाने जैसा है, but for the sake of formality मैं उनको introduce करता हूँ. J.C. Shukla sir is having a bachelor's of electrical engineering and bachelor's of mechanical engineering. And he did MBA from IIM Ahmedabad in 1971 batch. I was not even born at that time. He is having experience of more than 40 years. So जितनी मेरी life है उससे ज़्यादा तो उनका experience है. He is actually at present working as a CEO and managing director advisor of NAHAC overseas. He has had experience at various levels as a senior post advisor, consultant, and there are a lot of achievements. So the list is very long, and I wouldn't like to basically take much of his time. So we are really lucky to have J.C. Shukla sir on this platform, and he'll be addressing the gathering on your own boss. So Shukla sir, thank you for accepting our invitation. So now the stage is all yours. You can commence your presentation. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Margaret, for your kind words. And good morning, everybody. I will also thank Corona that it has created this opportunity so that people think in this line that what best can be done under the circumstances. I have requested Dr. Margaret to circulate video, and I hope you had an opportunity to look at the video. We'll quickly go through the various points. This webinar basically is going to be like a trailer. Over last 20 years, I have been working with internet and trying to find out what best one can do to make his living, create self-employment for people who are disadvantaged, for people who are poor. For example, I had an opportunity to conduct this seminar for 50 developing countries in Switzerland on the invitation of WTO, ITC. And this was the challenge that time was posed to me, that how one can make his living. So today, we have been all used to modern gadgets, but the most of the time we use them for entertainment. Now here we are going to look at it, how it can be best used for our own living. So quickly, we'll go through various models. There are small, big, and medium enterprises which I have selected. Some of them I will be able to explain, but because of the time constraint, if I cannot, and if that interests you, you can talk to me later, you can contact me later. Let me start with the story of Einstein. Einstein was a professor in the University of Pennsylvania, and he gave an examination paper to the students, and there was the shock wave. His secretary came running to his office. Sir, you made a blunder. Einstein said, what happened? He said, sir, you have issued the same question paper which you had given last year. Einstein just smiled. He said, don't worry, the answers have changed. So now in my presentation, if you find some of the simple things I am talking, please have a different kind of a look. Answers have changed. Corona has changed the world. Now look at the screen. What has immediately happened is there are a lot of disruption in industries. That video which I have sent to you earlier, in which industries are affected, which other industries have been focused as an opportunity, it very categorically it is articulating. Now, I will only touch base with the sweeping changes. Adaptation is the key. If you adapt to the new circumstances, you will be successful. Otherwise, you will be one of those migrant workers struggling. Survival of the fittest was the slogan. Now it is the survival of the quickest. We have very little time to address to the new situation. And there is a forced entrepreneurship. The idea of there is a saying in English, you cannot stop the idea whose time has come. And entrepreneurship time has come. I think still if the educational institution, NGOs, government and students do not take it up and do not understand, we are missing the bus. We will again be at a disadvantage. There are so many areas which has opened up as an opportunity, and so many areas which are under crisis. I will not go into that details because the video is giving it very clearly. But look at simple thing. Certain areas which has changed from globalization to localization. It is just 180-degree difference. What do we do? For last 45 days, you all have experienced that. Look, we were talking about globalization. We were talking about products from China, selling in Japan, and all. Now, what are we talking about? We do not have that options now. I was looking at the list of participants, and I am so glad. And I'm so glad there are a lot of girls, and I'm very glad they also want to become an entrepreneur. There's one next to me sitting, my daughter. This is a new trend going on, and this is very encouraging. I will be very, very happy if some of the models is gone out. If some of the models which I am presenting interest them. I also understand the engineers from power engineering department, power engineers are present here. Usually the seminar was supposed to be for engineers. I said, no, let's make it generic so that we can address number of opportunities. But especially for engineers, I would like to mention one thing. See, Baroda is a smart city. Now, I was just, for last 6 months, I have been seeing on the internet, there are more than 2 dozen wonderful models which can be implemented. Now, are we justifying the world-class infrastructure we have created in Baroda? There is a war room. I visited the war room in Municipal Corporation office, and it is fantastic investment. But it's something like you are misusing the opportunity. You take the Mercedes for going to Sabji market. That is the kind of the impression I got while talking to the people there. The same old story of government servants. Arey papi pet ke khatar kaam karte hain, this that. Here is the opportunity for all of engineers. Why don't you look at world-class infrastructure and look at the various models world over smart cities have created, and one model which I'm extremely keen and I've already started working on is zero hunger. Baroda should be immediately declared as zero hunger. This model is the zero hunger word has come from Stockholm, Sweden. Stockholm is already declared as zero hunger city. I would love to take this project and finish it up. I'm not here to give you an eloquent speech Most of the things which I am talking to you is doable by one and everybody, and I am already doing it. So this project we have already started. We have launched in Baroda today the first phase where 1,000 people we are supplying, 1,000 families we are supplying sabji at home. This is the first phase, and then over a period of time we'll take it up to the zero hunger. Why I mention this? There are wonderful infrastructure available where you can do data analytics, where you can do machine learning, where you can do artificial intelligence, and you can do miracle in case of healthcare, in case of education, and we have infrastructure in Baroda city. What are we doing about it? I think we should put our heads together and do something. This is for the engineers. I will now go over to the next slide. This is the presentation which I have had an opportunity to present it at number of places world over, and it is not for particular trade community. It is generic. Even a barber is included as a model. So I will not have time to go into details, but a couple of things which will go into details to find out how best it can be done. See, it starts with Archimedes' statement: "Give me a place to stand and live long enough, I will move the world." Whether Archimedes did it or not, but you can do it because of ICT. And if you feel that, how can you do it? We'll talk it later. Next slide. This is a fundamental thing to start with. I like the statement of Amitabh Bachchan. Line चालू होती है हम जहाँ से खड़े होते हैं वहाँ से line चालू होती है. The line begins from where I stand. Unless until you have this kind of confidence, I don't think you should be the game for be my own boss type, because there are so many challenges and so many opportunities. This is a prerequisite of this webinar. Next. This is a very small, I've been hearing from people, we have a poor English, I am poor, no money, I have low IQ. No problem. Everything is fine. In spite of that, you can do miracle. Next. This is the slide which shows how you can surf systematically. See, internet is a very big elephant. In spite of all the 200 search engines and all kinds of the systems available, you can hardly go up to 30%. So this is a system which will at least give you better results. Next. Now look at this. First slide I have put it, a one-man multinational company. Do we think in this line? I have met this man in America. He had few $1,000s. He had a wonderful design of a particular product, which he did it in Taiwan. He did prototype in China. He did mass manufacturing in Vietnam, and back office, of course, on a freelancer like Upwork and Guru.com and all. Do we think in this line? Have you ever in the colleges or in the offices thought this kind of things, heard this kind of things? Perhaps we still are in the pre-internet era, it looks like. World's biggest chain does not own a single store, that is Alibaba. World's biggest transport does not have any vehicle, that is Uber, Ola. And you know, hotel chain Airbnb, which is the largest in the world, does not have any room. Can you think of a business model like this? Next. Now, how you can become Airbnb, how you can become Uber, Ola, here is the solution. Look, Idea Connection, Innocentive, Indiegogo, Herox, Kickstarter, Technology Exchange Lab, all these are a very big platform. You can see a portal. Here, you can have the support of technology, you can have a support of marketing, you can have support of funding. Now, what do you want? What you want? I would request each one of you spend 2 hours minimum on each of these sites. And it is amazing. Some of you must be doing it also, because Indiegogo and Kickstarter are very popular. But say Idea Connection is not as popular, but there are 10,000 people in Idea Connection working day in and day out. I am one of the solver, and I am also one of the problem giver in Idea Connection. Now look at Technology Exchange Lab. 600 technology are available free of cost to you. Now, a friend of mine from Kenya who was asking me, what do I do? I said, look, go to the Technology Exchange Lab. He picked up a product which is known as live straw. A simple product is a pipe, 6-inch pipe with half-inch diameter. Now the product, you can use it to drink water. And which water, you know that? Anywhere in the world, any puddle on the road, any dirty water, you just put it there and you can drink it. This is a technology, somebody has done it, and it has in Congo, in Botswana, and all people have started using it. I think if this kind of thing interests you, you can take an agency and become a businessman. Likewise, there are so many things can be done. If you look at these all platforms and what they are offering and how you can be part of that, that will give you an idea, that will support you on funding, technology, and even marketing. Next. These are a number of things I wish I can take each model and talk out. There is a model for barber, there is a model for pharmacy. Yes, Dr. Mankar has told me to take a couple of them. Let me tell you, even if you are not a professional photographer, you can sell your pictures. You take any picture. I think because we have been taking selfies, we have been going to garden and taking pictures of the butterflies and all. These are the pictures you can sell. You look at the name of the website is sellpictures.com. Likewise, there is a website called Etsy.com, ETSY. It is written at the end. Now, in 10 rupees, you can start your shop on Etsy, which is a huge portal, and where billions of dollars business is being exchanged every day. You have been going to malls like Orbit, Inorbit, and other malls. This is a mall on the internet, and the time has come that how to use this to our advantage. We must learn, and you can sell handicraft, you can sell your own articles, and huge transactions are taking place. The cost of starting this business is ₹10. This I did it few years back. I think Etsy has also started their operations in India. So if you need to talk, you can talk to them. Now look at the other site called Fiverr and Design Crowd. Fiverr is a site where everything is available in $5. Whatever you ask for, $5. There is a site, the Design Crowd is a site where people come and give assignment. A friend of mine who picked up an assignment of designing a logo from Design Crowd, and he quoted $165. And what he did, smartly he used the Fiverr, took the logo design from Fiverr in $5 and sold it in $165. At the end of, there is a slide where I'm going to explain, don't solve the problem, sell the problem. What is required is connect the demand and supply. That's how you can be in the business. Why can't we do this kind of things and be more innovative and more creative in our business models? I can go into each model in detail, depending upon interest of the participant. But before that, I'll request that you go. I have given the website. You write on the Google, go into details, study the website, and if you find any problem, come back to me. I think I'll be able to address that. Next. I'll go next. See, there are 11 things listed on this slide. Each one is a big opportunity. The video conference, GPS, digital voice recorder, whatever you take it. Each one in which, if you are interested and if you have your core competence, you can find a business. Now, look at that. Take the previous slide, please. All this, to have all 11 items, we needed this many equipments in 2010. And you know what is the cost of this? $1 million, 7.5 crore rupees. If you have all this, you can do all those 11 things. And let me also tell you, if you do not have the right kind of a knowledge or experience or skill, you can take a course on the Coursera. In those 11 skills, the training also. So the training is available, the equipments are available, and you can market it on Upwork, freelancer. Upwork is giving 1 crore jobs every day. You can market it on Upwork. Now you say that we don't have $1 million. How can we have it? In your hand, you have a smartphone which is 7,500 rupees worth, which has all the features what you saw on that slide, that 11 items. And how do we use them? We use them for entertainment. We don't know how to make money out of it. And this is the challenge. Next. This is another case, very interesting. This is a girl in November 14, 2013. She was lost. And to everybody's surprise, to my surprise at least, she was found after 45 days. And who found her? Mr. Nobody. It was Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Now let me tell you how it happened. You will find that, what do I do with this kind of information? There is a training available for private detective, courses available for private detective on the Coursera internet. You can start private detective, or maybe a business, maybe you help police, local police. No, we do not have that kind of private detectives in India like America has. But look, every police station needs it, and if you think of in that line, we can create 10,000 jobs easily. Next. These are the two big cases. The first one is in support of, there is the Facebook video which says that how we can find the lost children and all. The first one is that. The second and third one is on agriculture. Now, Shivans Fertilizer, somebody, a very, very learned man from USA who's a billion-dollar man who thought that how can I help worldwide. He created agricultural portal by which a small farmer can be helped. What he did in Shivans Fertilizer, he says that if you have a small farm, maybe an acre or so, you do not have to use fertilizer, insecticide, pesticides. Shivans Fertilizer, you can make it on your own. Now, there's an elaborate method he has given with the brochure and technical information and all. If this is followed, and I think it is being followed in South India and also in a number of places in Africa, instantly you can develop the income of farmer. You don't have to wait for government and Narendra Modi to come and give any subsidy or grants or any insurance support or something like that. This is, and if you work on this line, you can create another 10,000 or 1 million jobs easily. Same is the model of farmland.co, which is a Ghana model. It is a call center and ICT support to each farmer. How Ghana agriculture economy they turn around. And it's very interesting story. I would love to go into great details, but you have to look at the video, then we can talk. Next. Now, since the advent of internet, what are the changes which we are still struggling to come to terms with? I think when we were young, everything was costly. Now look at that. What ICT or what internet has made the difference. Cost of communication is free, connectivity is free, publishing is free, music is free, advertisement is free. Look at that, how much is free available? But we are not able to make use of it in the manner in which it should be. You have a Facebook page, you use LinkedIn, but for what? It's just chit chat. It's where you went into vacation or something like. Nothing productive you see. Here is a challenge. The second statement I already said it. Don't sell the problem. Don't solve the problem. Sell it. That's what we already saw the earlier example. This is the third dictum I would rather insist is problem is new to you but not new to mankind. For heaven's sake, do not reinvent the wheel. If you are intelligent, if somebody gives you a problem, you start solving it. You don't need to solve it. There are people in the world who have already worked it, who have already solved it. Please look at that and indigenize if required. That is, I have given also the site's name modasta.com. You can look at that. MIT Solve, you can look at that. So another one that changes, which we have people are not much taking advantage of it, is the network is net worth. Without any money, without any investment, you can create a global network of partners. My Africa operations started because we had a network partner in Uganda and Kenya. It can bring immense advantage to you. So the earlier, our brick and mortar economy has a different way of handling net worth. Now the things have changed. Each one of you, each professor, each engineer, each professional should have a global network partners so that they can exchange notes, they can learn, they can create new opportunities, and it's at no cost. But how many people are doing it? How many professors are publishing a research paper with network partners? I have yet to find out a good use of this. There is a level playing field. See, this is the biggest advantage which internet has brought. And people like us, I'm not giving you any theories. Zeppelin, a multinational conglomerate, a German conglomerate, is in Baroda is because of us. And looking to the size and operation of Zeppelin, we are minuscule consultant. But because of level playing field, we could tell them that we can bring better advantage to your business if you follow what we say. And Zeppelin is here. And we, as a consultant, they appreciated us, appointed us as a consultant in Zeppelin, appointed as a consultant in India, Baroda. Even a small company like us, we are a company is closely held, family-owned, father and son company. We could get such a kind of large business because internet has created a level playing field. I wish, keeping this in mind, you start thinking differently to create your own business model on the internet. Now, geography has become history. We still are local thinkers. Of course, Corona has made us more local, but this phase will remain temporary. But in certain industries, still will be global. So I think we should think differently to create different kind of business model for us where we have the core competence. I will give you another two examples. Now, the last line is tragedy of common exchange, the power of crowd. This is economic theory, which I would love to go into great details, but the time is short. It's already 12 o'clock. I'll give another two examples. Since last 45 days, we are all locked up in Corona crisis. What individual one can do, we were thinking, and I was thinking myself with few friends. And what we did is, I have doctors as a partner, the businessman as a partner, the software consultant as a partner. We said that, look, let's start working in the direction which is immediately useful to society. We went to Baroda Municipal Corporation and said that we will supply vegetables to a family's doorstep, and they should be economical, they should be fresh, and it should be doorstep supply. This was the need of the hour. They immediately accepted, and right now, for last 1.5 months, 1,000 families are being served. There are minimum 100 deliveries every day, and we deliver at least basket for about a week, 3-4 days or a week or something like that. Why we started this? We don't want to be a competition with lariwalas and sabjiwalas and all. But Zero Hunger is a project which is in our mind. This is not selling sabjis. We will become their DMart. We'll give them every item what they want, and we want to create 1 million jobs. These are the changes, sweeping changes taking place in society, and we want to create a model. Look, here it is. Anybody and everybody is welcome, and he can make his living respectfully in the vicinity of his home. And these are the models. Similar thing, Amar Ujala, which is a very large media publication in northern India, they are selling almost 2 million copies in Hindi heartland. They came to us that what we can do under the circumstances. I said, look, the bigger challenge is to keep youth in the house. How do we keep them interested in? So now we are playing games like Tambola, like PUBG for Amar Ujala on the mobile phones. This is how you can make use of the crisis and convert into the opportunities. I can go endlessly, but the idea is this is more like a trailer to give you different test of possibilities, and I will be very happy to answer your questions. Normally this should be a workshop of 3-4 hours. So where each model is discussed in detail, where if you are interested, we can go into nuts and bolts and all. But now it depends upon Dr. Mankad how to take it forward. Is that fine? Should we keep it for Q&A, or do we want to go beyond?
No, sir. We finish the presentation. We'll handle the Q&A at the end after Himanshu sir's presentation.
The model which I have talked about in PPT, is there anybody want more explanation on a particular model? We can go into more detail because it's only 12:04. There is time available.
I think, sir, the model which we have discussed, we need to give them time to explore on the web also. Then only they'll have elaborate questions for the same.
Yeah.
At present, if anybody is having any questions, you can write in the chat section.
You are telling that somebody online will give you the question and you will pass it on to me. Is it that?
I have already requested them to put the questions in the chat section. Once they put, sir, one question is that they want to know about your organization, Nahak.com. So what is the platform? How they?
There is a website www.nahak.com. It is in the slide PPT also. New theories on ICT. It is there. www.nahak.com.
Yeah. They want to learn about what it's doing.
Basically, it is an M&A, merger and acquisition, alliances, joint venture, technology transfer, collaboration, and creating global new opportunities. That is what the company is doing.
Okay. But you ask about that Etsy.com, you can start a business on that. So what are the basic requirements? Of course, they'll go on the net and they'll explore it, but if you can just elaborate in nutshell.
It's very simple. Anybody can go to Etsy website and become a supplier, open up a shop there and start transacting.
So, how do they verify the authenticity of a vendor or something like that?
No. I think there, if you look at the website, there are already set rules. You should accordingly apply it. That may not be the big challenge there.
Okay. I think it will be more clear once they visit the website and play with it.
Yeah.
All right. So carry on with your presentation if you want to discuss more, or else we'll request Himanshu sir and have your more interaction at the end.
Basically, there are two other slides on agriculture, because I thought that people may not be interested in agriculture kind of model.
maybe we can request Himanshu sir to get on with his presentation, sir.
Perfectly all right. But if anybody has sent you any questions,
No, the chat section is open with me. I request all to, if you have any questions, please write chat section. At present, I'm waiting for the questions. So meanwhile, I think we'll request Himanshu sir to get on with. Himanshu sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good afternoon, Dr. Mankar. Before I start, I would urge you to resolve the issues of the presentation not being seen or being accessed by some of the participants, because in the chat section I do see lots of messages there. So kindly
let me clarify.
That it's on, and then I'll start.
So hello everybody. As you can see, you have a people that is participant section. On participant section is with the alphabetical. In that you scroll and go to Dr. Haley Shah. You will see 3 Dr. Haley Shahs. So the intermediate one is having Dr. Haley Shah into bracket presentation. You click on that and there will be a symbol of pin on it. Click on that pin. So that presentation will be pinned on your screen. So whatever, even if participant enters or leaves, your presentation screen will be fixed. You will not get disturbed. I think it's clear. We are writing it in chat section number of times. Scroll to click on the people section. Scroll to Dr. Haley Shah into bracket presentation, and then click on it. You will see a pin symbol. The symbol which you see often on the notice board when we pin the notice board, right? So I hope that's fairly clear.
So maybe Javeri can confirm if she is able to see it now, because a minute ago she could not.
I think everybody is able to. If anybody is having any problem, they can write in a chat section.
Okay. So can I start?
Sir, I would like to formally welcome you, and then you can start. So thank you, Shukla sir. Please be online for the question and answer session. Friends, now I would like to introduce our second speaker for today. Shri Himanshu Agrawal. Shri Himanshu Agrawal sir is Senior Vice President Roads and International Markets at Zyder Industries, and sir is MBA in Marketing with having experience of more than 30 years in the marketing technologies, consumer products, services and industries. Sir is expert in country startups, the B2G corporation company turnaround, creating B2C and B2B brands of cutting edge technologies, innovations. And sir has successfully opened the international markets of Europe, India, Russia from concept to commercialization. And if I am not wrong, out of 365 days, he is having majority of the days out of the country. So sir is having a vast experience, and we are really lucky, and we are really grateful to him for sparing his valuable time. So now I request Himanshu Agrawal sir to present his views on opportunities for Generation Z. Himanshu sir.
Good afternoon to all the faculty members, dear students. I feel the students are very close to my heart, because whenever I see students, I feel that I am also one of them, because I feel that I am gone back to my old days when I was in the college. So dear students, it's a pleasure to be interacting with you. These are unnatural times where we are not able to see each other and not able to touch and feel each other. But I think the world is going to be that way as we move along. So thanks to the management for inviting me over and giving me this opportunity to discuss, also to the SPSS. Now, the topic which I took is, what are the opportunities available for Generation Z in COVID times? So what does it mean? The world is changing at an unprecedented pace. In December 2019, did we all know that 3 months or 4 months down the line, we will be all shut down? All for a single reason, an invisible, whatever micron size virus, and the whole world is off. Who could have ever imagined this? But it is in times of adversity that the seeds of opportunity lie. Moreover, I think, in my opinion, COVID-19 is a very big blessing in disguise for the simple reason that in India, we have a young India with 600 million people of the age 25 and below. We are the youngest nation in the world today. That means we have no dearth of manpower which can add wealth and value to the world. How do we take forward? How do we utilize this energy? How do we utilize these pair of legs and hands as well as brains that we have in this country of ours? Just to give you a sense, because I'm sure as a student I would be very much thinking as to, let me finish my master's or my bachelor's and where do I head from there? Have I conquered the world? This is what I thought when I did this 30 years ago. When I came from MS University out into the world, suddenly I got a shock saying that, oh, you know nothing really. All you know is you have some knowledge. So are we ready and prepared for taking the journey of life? That's very, very important. To give you a sense of the economy, because at the end of the day, whether I am a technical engineer or whether I am from a non-technical stream, at the end of the day, everybody is concerned by generation of value and wealth. India is close to $3 trillion of economy by GDP. The world is $85 trillion. We are expecting to go to $5 trillion as the Honorable Prime Minister has mentioned so many times, and I'll not go into details of that. However, can we look at why 5? Why not $20 trillion? Because if I look at population-wise, if I compare the land of Turkey, the Turkey has about 80 million people, Gujarat has 60 million people. Turkey's turnover or GDP is close to $1 trillion, while India is $3 trillion. So what is it that these guys do, which we cannot do with the people who are young people, with the people who have all the analytical minds and brains? How do we utilize this energy? Give you a sense of India as well. You compare the south and west, you compare Tamil Nadu, you collect Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and UP, you are close to $1.2 trillion. So out of $3 trillion, these 4 or 5 states comprise to 40 to 45% of GDP. So how do we move forward? Can we go to the next slide? That is Generation Z. I guess our generation, my generation, is millennial generation. We are somewhere in between the current generation and probably the old timers. How do we look at resolving the generation gap that usually exists from generation to generation? Before I also move on to Generation Z, let me also point out something very, very interesting which I observed when I went to China back in 2007. You go to Tongji University, you go to South China University, or you go to Beijing, you go to any university. Inside the university campus, you will have a science park with 500 to 600 companies. And who's running those companies? It is the professors, the educators who run those companies, because the idea of the Chinese government is do innovation, do research, get yourself into, test your products or test your whatever innovations you bring, have your own enterprise, be a stakeholder along with the people who are involved and bring the product to the market. What prevents India from aping that same model? We can definitely do that. That will bring in what's in it for us. So if we have core brains, why don't we utilize that? We have a lot of excellence centers. The next slide, please. The Generation Z are essentially what a lot of people call digital natives. They are born with modern technology. They have grown online in a globalized world. Earlier, when a kid was born, he or she used to get a toy, probably made in India, then it shifted to made in China toy, and now what the kid gets is a mobile phone. What the kid gets is, you have n number of lithium batteries, you have n number of gadgets, which the kids are surrounded with. So what happens is they are digital. They have high energy, they're highly ambitious, also because of the fact that their parents have been very highly ambitious. They want to be climbers, they're aspirational. The preferred domain is online. You want to buy cheese, you want to buy chicken, you want to buy a fabric, you want to buy shoes, you want to buy a book, if at all, and everybody goes global in the net to look at some kind of an app and buy it. So this generation is also socially connected to friends, to business, and even celebrities. So there is a social connect, but digital connect. Social life is centered around digital domain. Two major fears, as the acronym goes: fear of being alone and fear of missing out. They're looking for instant communication. This generation of students and the youngsters, even the young faculty members, are looking for instant appreciation, instant feedback. Everything for them is instant at the go. Next slide, please. But what, dear students, you have been doing in your schooling years as well as in your college years is to look at the first part, which is the knowledge part. You've been gathering knowledge. Also, you've been gathering some skills. But to succeed in life, to succeed in your chosen careers, be it technical or be it non-technical area, you got to have skills. You got to have skills which you are adept at, which you are very much, which you are having a great finish or finesse, as one would call it. You need to do the best out of whatever you are doing. As I normally say, if you have to sweep the floor, you got to be the best one. Whatever you do, you got to be the best. But most important, knowledge takes you far, skill takes you ahead. It is the attitude which takes you really forward, because attitude leads to altitude. Unless you have an attitude of openness, of being a risk taker, whatever attitude you display, the rest of the two things will come there. And then talent. A lot of people go for a profession which they do because they thought they didn't have any other choice. I'm not sure how many are the lucky guys who go after their passion. You gotta fail. Everybody's gotta fail. Unless one fails and is happy to fail again the next time, it doesn't work. You know, just to share with you, my son finished his mechanical engineering last year, and then he wanted to do a startup. He didn't want to do a job, which is good. But then doing a job is easier. Doing a startup is not so easy. And every day, evening, the face is down. In the morning, the face is cheerful. So what do you do? So then I picked up, and I'm telling all of you, please pick up this book called Rejection Proof. How to get rejected 100 days, one after the other day, and be coming back is what will lead you to success. Next slide, please. Just to, I guess this is self-explanatory. Knowledge is information I've already shared. Talent is the natural ability that prepares you to take responsibilities. And that's the most important aspect of what you have. If you have a talent to, let's say, be a mechanic, please be one. If you think that you studied, why did you do your engineering? Is it because of pressure from home? In our times, there were only two ways: either become a doctor or become an engineer, as if there was no other way to succeed in life. But that's not true. You guys have a set of parents who are very, very open to take any stream which you like to do. Only thing is, you got to really work towards it. And we go to the next slide. Whatever you want to achieve, one, you need to know yourself. You may have desire, you want to become the Prime Minister of the United States of America, but are you ready to work for it? Are you ready to slog for it? Unless you do that, it's just a desire, it won't really work out. So you should have a work ethic under 10%. You should have a positive attitude. Give 90%, operate at 200%, load yourself with work for 12 hours on every day, which means that you will have solid 8 to 10 hours of work, because this is the best phase of life where you are not being asked to, perform daily work in constraints. College years are the best years because you have no constraints really. You are free bird to really learn whatever you want to do. I can only recall when I was preparing this presentation, I was recalling my days in MBA in MS University. From 2 o'clock, I used to miss my lunch, finish my college, 2 o'clock in Hansa Mehta Library. I'm sure some of you would have actually gone to their journal section, which used to be at the very top. From 2 o'clock onwards, till the library used to close and they used to kick me out, I was sitting there and reading all these journals, because unlike in your times where knowledge is available at the go, in our times, knowledge was not easily available. You actually needed to access physically and read. It was very difficult. So unless you give it your best shot, I don't see as to how you should be thinking of conquering the world. The next slide, please. So what's this animal called COVID? We are in a global lockdown, as I mentioned. The world is moving at a warp speed. Social, political, economic commotion. Nobody knows what's really happening. The leaders of the nation do not know what's happening. All they do is to read and give some kind of detail as to how they have controlled the COVID, especially in India. Even in the United States, even in Europe, probably they are better off. So nobody knows what's happening. Economy is in a tailspin. We might be having a recession coming on in. Population becoming poorer. Generation Z, which is just passing out or which has just started career, have the prospect of having a career path where they need to struggle. That's the bad part, but the good part is that they will get exposed to struggle early on in their life. Last 10 years, steep inequality, poorer is getting poorer, rich is getting richer. Societal safety nets in India, of course, are not there. Across the world, some places they are there, which is good. And radical changes in contract between employers and employees. Look at the funny part. We are down by 1.5 months, and the private sector included is behaving as if the employees who brought value all across these times, they do not have the money to pay them for 1.5 months, going for salary cuts. Makes no sense to me. For a startup, I understand. But for people who've been adding value year on year and putting their sweat and making it to grow, I don't see why they should have such a short-term horizon. Industry 4.0 technologies are redefining the workplace. How are we getting ready with that? Government responses in terms of cooperation, in terms of fighting this enemy is not there. Government's pushing their own agenda. Next slide, please. I think I need to go faster. So this is a Deloitte Global Millennial Survey, essentially looking at as to what is the mood of the people as of today across the countries. I will not go into the detail. I'll take you to some graphs which gives you an idea. The next slide, please. The key point here is that the young generation expects educational institutions and businesses to train them for being ready for the markets, to train them for being ready into the world. And if that has to happen, the onus is on a large, I think the large number of people in today's participation are also educators. A bulk of the responsibility is theirs. The second part of the responsibility is of businesses, from where me and Rishiklas come. So it is for us to really make it happen. How do we make it happen is the challenge. The next slide. My experience of this is the disrupted generation. Today you have people who come into the work stream. They are not happy with their pay scales. They do not find they have opportunities. They do not find learning and development opportunities. They don't feel appreciated. And the question to ask is, if you change every 2 years, Rolling Stone gathers no moss. Do the individuals, do the dear students get trained for a sector of the industry which they want to join in? Or is it the task of the industry to make it happen? Or can it not happen that while they're in the 3rd year and the 4th year, they are deciding that, okay, I want to become a solar engineering professional, or I want to become a telecom professional. Let me start working with these companies which are in that space and make them sector ready. If they're sector ready, it saves time for the industry in terms of investing 1 to 2 years of time. And since they are ready, they are more valuable. The moment you are more valuable, you will uncover your value because you have the ability. Unless that happens, it will not work out. So today, Zyrex as a company, we partner with some colleges to see that they give a module of the type of competence that we are looking for, of the kind of work that they have to be doing. Not only that, we allow or we ensure that the first interview is taken by the educators, not by us. Because who knows the children better than the educators who have put in 4 years with them. So the point is, if we have the open sharing mechanism of working, I think we can really go forward. The next slide, please. The gig economy, basically, now you're not looking at the jobs which are, with a horizon of 30 years. There was a time when I started my career that you join a company and you are retiring from the same company. That changed to join 4 to 5 or 6 companies and finish your career of 30 to 40 years. But now it's like, then came the era of 2 to 3 years or 4 years, and then you shift every year. Now is the era is you work on assignments, forget about the number of years. You work to your value and deliver valuation or deliver your wealth creation that you do for the world. I was traveling by KLM to Amsterdam a couple of months ago, and when I was talking to the crew, what I realized is that lady, 30 years of age, works 2 to 3 days in 15 days, does 2 trips and be back at home. So it's a very assignment based working which is happening in different parts of the world. I think in India also, we should be really looking at that, because there is nothing that we should look at that we need to work on one particular area. We need to work on whichever area we want to add value. Next slide, please. COVID came now, but we are anyway living in a VUCA world. What is a VUCA world? It is volatile, fast rate of change. It's an uncertain world. We are not clear as to what's really happening. It's a complex world. There are multiple decision factors. It's an ambiguous world. There is a lot of non-clarity. And this ambiguity has been enhanced by COVID in terms of ensuring the shutdowns. Let's go to the next slide. So, volatility. Can we prepare, for instance, if I were to give example of our company, we have been locked down for 33 days now. Can we prepare all our field engineers? What do I do with them when they're locked in? Because their core competence was working in the field. By the way, we take civil engineers across the stream because I work in the domain of road construction. So what do we do with field engineers? What we have done, we have pulled them into cross-functional teams, asked them to create a DIY manual as to how they will give online support to the construction fellows using the technology. So how do you take advantage of the volatility? You learn a new skill set, you start to work and become more productive. Uncertain. Well, uncertainty will be there. Today, a lot of companies survive in manufacturing by applying the principles of JIT, just-in-time manufacturing. The whole thing is turned topsy-turvy for the simple reason, today what we need to manage is by logistics, is it a red zone or an orange zone or a green zone? Can we take decisions to see that the raw material supply chain can navigate this red, orange, green matrix that is there in place today? And that's the real way of working. Complexity is there. What I would only say on complexity is you must display tenacity, you must display resilience to fail and to fail and to fail and not give up the enthusiasm, because we deal with a world of disbelievers who will make or where you feel that you're wrong. If we had Mr. Edison getting stuck in failure, we would not be really using light and electricity, and we would not be talking on a webinar. It's very simple. So you look at any example and you will find everywhere that tenacity and resilience is very, very important. What you need to really have is self-belief. Ambiguity. You need to go into the Gemba and start working. There are 1,600 units, the working units in Makarpura. We do not have that many students. Why can't 4 students or 5 students work in each unit as a cross-functional team, get precious experience, forget about the money. Money is not important. The next slide. But all this requires an adaptive mindset. You need to engage with people. You need to learn people skills. You need to be an agile learner and then develop others. The next slide. Learning agility. This slide is very important. I would request everybody to really go into the detail. The whole slide will be available in the net anyway. Today, we have, I tell my team, since we work in the road sector, which is to do with earth, I tell my team that you guys have three mothers. One is your biological mother, the second one is the Dharti Ma, and the third one is Ma Google. Use Ma Google. Whatever question comes to your mind, please put that question verbatim and you will get the answer somewhere. And you will get an answer which is better than whosoever can give physically. What is learning agility? It's a continuous learning, unlearning ability, and relearning. If you apply that, that means we continually, even after 30 years, I am a student. My juices, my creative juices, my enthusiasm, my question asking ability shouldn't go down over time. Because the world is moving at a pace where all the knowledge which exists in Google has been there for the last 2 years only. So if that is the pace of change, how does it matter whether I have 30 years of experience or your age is below 30? We are on the same page. Next slide. How do we go forward? You have a new normal in work, travel, and interaction, in cultural, societal, geopolitical, and economic transformations. Use the available technologies to create virtual offices, virtual colleges, which I guess you people are doing, and that's the right way. Educational classrooms, auditoriums. Unleash the power of working collaboratively to solve world's biggest challenges, climate change, mental health. Very interestingly, government allocates 30,000 crores for Namami Gange, for cleaning up Ganga. All you have to do is shut down this country for 30 days. Ganga is clean. That money is saved. So what's the problem? Put that 30,000 crores in healthcare sector. So we need to start thinking differently. We need to do a screening of all the 130 crore people. Fair enough. Difficult task. Let's combine population census along with screening, do 2 in 1. At the same cost, you can get everything done and on. And while the National Register of Citizens is a controversial topic, if you really need to bring that in, you can also bring that in. So you do a 3 in 1 at the same cost. Only then are we adding value. Develop your professional skills to remain competitive in future job market. Go for e-learning. There are lots of courses which are available at pittance cost. Teach me life skills. This is very, very, very important. Skills of creativity, communication. When we are having a new normal where I cannot physically travel, unless I am creatively communicating and exciting the people for their eyeballs, there are n number of webinars going on today, every day. But unless I have something different, it is going to be one more. So you need to bring collaboration, empathy, emotional intelligence, and being able to work across demographies. This is very, very important. Why can't the professors get together and work, let's say, a civil engineering professor with the professor in Lyon, or professor in Vienna Technical University, or professor with Texas, or in Braunschweig University in Germany, and so on. And I guess the same thing can happen for any stream of engineers. I would say innovate to take advantage of this demographic dividend, otherwise it will be a curse. The next slide, please. So I think this is very, very important. What I would only like to stress here is the importance of omni-channel. We are 24/7 today in cloud, social media, blog, and mobile. It is a 24/7 world. We need to really look at as to how we are relevant to it. That means I need to be present on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook if possible. Personally, I don't like it because it's more social, not really to do with business. But Twitter and LinkedIn definitely for sure. The next slide, please. On the left side, you'll find the driving forces. On the right side, you'll find the restraining forces. Now, the driving forces are, give you an example. You know, I had one of my young engineers who has a jerry manufacturing in Surat, and he said that my jerry turns into yellow. What do I do about it? I coat the silver and it becomes yellow, and then I have to throw the whole thing. So what was the problem? We did a Viva analysis, and within 15 minutes it figured out that his father, who was a typical, let's say, mentality of low cost buyer, Lala, said, let me buy copper which is cheaper. And when I questioned again and again, it was found out that the costlier copper did not have any problems in terms of making jerry. But the loss of silver was 20 times more than the price gained per kg of copper. So the next day they changed it. So we need to really observe and go to the last mile and understand what really is happening. We need to harness the cognitive diversities. What is a critical issue is silo mentality. If we are looking at our own turf, it's a problem. Gone are the days where someone can say, I'm in electrical engineering, let me do work my way, let me have technical sessions only, and let me do everything, and I'm happy in my own domain. Now that can only work if you are working in Indian Institute of Sciences in pure science or pure research. But if you are working in any particular enterprise where you want to add value, you got to work cross-functional. Today, for example, automobiles are no longer the old mechanical machines. They bring in a lot of IoT, they bring in a lot of sensors, they bring in a lot of robotics, they bring in different streams of engineering. Unless we get cross-functionally working, I don't think it will work out. The next slide, please. Most important, I'm sure the students might have been waiting as to what are the opportunities that you can get. COVID or no COVID, what are the opportunities for you? My dear students, I would say you forget about the issue of COVID, because in a life marathon of 40 years, 1 year or 2 years really doesn't make a difference. What is important is, are you getting ready for your life journey with the right knowledge, the right skill sets, which suits to your passion? Unless you integrate to your passion, life is a hard grind. And that is not really what you guys should do. You have intelligence. You got into an engineering college, which is a good college. I've been watching this college from day one. It has really done a good job in terms of coming up to here. What I think the distance needs to be traveled is to make it a center of excellence. What you guys have got is a basic degree. Do your master's in your passion area or get into management degree. Either go immediately for it, but my advice would be, based on my experience, after doing your basic engineering, pick up some experience from the ground and then do your master's, because then you will really be able to correlate field to what concept you are studying. In my opinion, what engineering domain requires is a residency like we do have for doctors after they do their MBBS. You can also branch out and get professional degree in chartered accountant or CFA. You can go into academia or research. That's as far as your core area of work is concerned. But over and above that, what you really need to get is master English. I think Mr. Shukla also mentioned about poor English. Today, English is the language of business. You like it or you don't like it. So it's better to have that. But more importantly, get one more foreign language, because that will become your strategic edge. Master the digital technologies. You got to be a content specialist, got to be a blogger, you got to be a writer, you can be a patent analyst. There are n number of opportunities available. I think the previous presentation is an excellent eye-opener in terms of where all you can really go on, in addition to what I have mentioned. Give wings to your entrepreneurial streak, pick learnings and fail fast. As I was saying, go to the next slide, please. If you want to be an entrepreneur, some of the things which you can do is, and this does not require, let's say, millions of rupees. This does not require anything. It requires some bit of creativity. Be active on LinkedIn, video communicate, create virtual events, online learning, webinars, be problem solvers, create chatbots, embrace augmented reality. That's one of the concepts which is very, very important to move on. We go to the next slide. If you got to be an entrepreneur, world is your market. So if world is your market, you need to really look at what are the global competencies required. So you need to have investigate the world, what the world has, do your pestle analysis. I do not have time to really share that. Maybe on some occasion I can share. I do share it with the MBA students. Recognize the perspectives as to what is yours and what is others. Because unless you go over the cultural barrier, unless you go over to the context of the market where you want to be, you will find that you are sadly not in touch on the same page. Communicate your ideas, but most important, take some action, do something. It's not really a problem to fail. What is a problem is to do nothing. Let's go to the next slide. What are the multiple intelligences required for being successful? Today, there is a big fallacy which I think I have been toying for this for the last 30 years. All the vice chancellors say that, we are into education. I would say we should talk and say, forget education, we are into actually literacy, because we really have a very closed, tight system which does not allow for using all our faculties available, using credits the way it is done abroad. You need to have open learning. But having said that, what the administrators cannot do, there are a lot of windows available to each professor and head if he or she wants to really innovate and look at, okay, what's available, because Sunday is yours available, the after college hours are yours available, you can do whatever you like. If you want to add value, you can add value to the students, you can add value to yourself also. Work on this, because as Albert Einstein said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. And I think the Three Idiots movie is a very, very good example of what can go wrong in our whole system and what is going wrong in our whole system. The next slide, please. Pick up some icons. I don't say who you should pick up. Whichever icon you pick up, study that icon and try to replicate what that icon has or he or she has done to be successful. But one thing you will find common is persistence, resilience, dedication, sincerity, intelligence. These are some of the traits which all of these icons would have displayed. The next slide, please. The last slide, please. I will end it with a quote from Mr. Ratan Tata. Who else? He is one of the best icons India has ever had. We may not have equal talent, yet all of us has an equal opportunity to develop our talents. And I think that's the whole point of having opportunities. Opportunities are there dime a dozen. Point is, who wants to take the pick and who wants to really take the jump and get into that pool and start struggling. And I think that struggle is what is going to lead you. As far as wisdom is concerned, it's a lifelong journey to go on. And who am I? Who's better than Mr. Einstein to talk about the wisdom? What I definitely would like to tell you is what I have thought from the time when I managed, at the age of 28 years, 600 people, turn around the company of Alembic Glass Industries. In this Baroda itself is, I talk to myself that we all have come to earth with a purpose. What is that purpose? We need to don the mantle and get going. We need to take this crown of thorns. Leadership is not really it is a crown definitely, but it has thorns all around. What I decided is, I will sleep with open eyes as we eternally sleep once we are gone. Since then, I have been putting 12 to 16 hours a day, every day, not because the company says. It is nothing about company, it is about me, myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Excellent. For the refreshing and eye-opening. Now I request all the participants, if you have any questions, please raise in your chat section. And meanwhile, when you are raising the questions, sir, we have with this audience Chairman of the Society of Power Engineers, Shri Akre sir. We have Vice Chairman S.M. Takalkar sir, who is having the Takalkar Power Engineers. We also have Amit Jas, Principal of Babari Institute of Technology, Dr. Pallavi Agarwal. We have some senior faculty members and heads of department from the other institutes also. I think we have electrical HOD Hetal Prajapati Madam from Parul Diploma Studies, Electrical Department. So we really appreciate presence of all of you. And any of you can unmute and give your feedback. Meanwhile, people are raising the questions. Akare sir, Takalkar sir, Pallavi Madam.
Dr. Bankar, while the question comes, I can just add one point. I think I see a lot of chats where everybody wants to have a presentation. So my presentation can, of course, be shared. I have no problems.
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
It can be sent on WhatsApp. It's very easy. So I think it can go whichever way you guys like.
Yeah, we'll reach. ICT is a good tool. It will reach in half an hour to all. All right, sir. Meanwhile, others, if they are asking, I have some questions. Often in a video also, and today also in your presentation, the word was about gig economy. I think it will be good if you can elaborate, because many of I know about it, but many of our participants may not be very clear on what is the meaning of gig economy.
Okay. So this is one economy where you do not have a permanent assignment. You have work as it comes. You are a freelancer, really. You have your own expertise domain, and that's why I said each professional can make his or her own website or have networking. As Mr. Shukla said, networking is net worth. So all this economy runs on networking. It's a back-to-back which happens. So do not work. Evaluation. For example, today there are a lot of people. If I go to an agency called the Ogilvy and Mather, I need to pay them huge money to get an artwork done or to get an advertising campaign done. Today, fortunately, you have so many professionals available who can do that at a fraction of the cost and maybe equivalent in terms of quality. I was thinking, if we have an expertise, for example, if let's say Dr. Mankar or any Dr. Thakur, for instance, if you have an expertise on one aspect of, let's say, rheology of bitumen, for example, you can go global. Like I heard some time back, and in fact, let me tell you, today, Professor V. Raghavan, and I'm sure some of you may know him, he has mooted the concept that we will give webinars every day. 500 participants come in, we will just charge 250 rupees per participant. You collect the money, it's not the money that he cares for. What he cares for is the seriousness of the participant to get the knowledge. However, the money is welcome for whatever cause it goes in, it doesn't matter. So today, a lot of people can do that. For example, in Amsterdam, if you have to do, if somebody has a bent of mind to become a musician and have guitar, you can actually make a living out of it. In India, maybe not possible, but across the world, yes. So there are, I guess, lots and lots of works available, and I think some of the slides which Shukla Saab shared, probably where the jobs are available, would actually go into that area. And I think Mr. Shukla can add more value to this whole concept.
Very. Now we have questions in a chat section. I'll take one of the questions.
Who's Vishal? Who's Vishal? Who's this?
Sir, one question is, how is the education system in India going to be reformed post COVID-19? Now, I don't think it is relevant to you. We should be answering this, but if you would like to answer.
So, is the question for me or for Shukla Sir?
I think it is for educators, but the question is, how is the education system in India going to be reformed post COVID-19? It is not addressed to any of you in particular. It's a general question.
If you were to ask my take, I think one of the very important things which probably need to be done is to bring in a very close coordination of the current education system with the industry. See, today, I do not know how the government or the AICT works. That's not my core area. But what I definitely can tell you is from the user's point of view, because at the end of the day, the students who emerge from the colleges come to the industry or come to the world. So I would be very happy to see that people get the right type of knowledge which is desired by industry. For example, let me give you an example for you to think. How to change it is a matter of the educators and the bureaucrats in the education area. Infosys today sets up a Infosys University in Mysore for training the engineers from different domains so that they can add value to their work as they require it to be done. Can that be taken backwards by the education system itself? If that can be taken by the education system, it's changed. That's one way. The other way is why the college cannot set up a BPO center. The moment you set up a BPO center, or what I mentioned to you, a science park which I mentioned, the moment there is something like that, that means in the college campus there is an enterprise also ongoing. Automatically the feedback of what doesn't work or what is not required by the industry is relayed within no time back to the professor, because the professor is having two roles. One of the person who is taking the concept from cradle to the last mile in the market. If that doesn't work, he or she will anyway make it changed as we move along. We will have to unshackle and open the system. We will, I think, have to privatize the whole system is what I think.
Very true, sir. There is a question from Shukla sir. Shukla sir, are you there?
I am very much here. Actually,
Sir,
I wanted to add to what Himanshu said. I think the biggest gap lies in creating entrepreneurs. We do not have, I don't think, what is the idea after the Britishers left? We still keep on producing the clerks and the administrators and the kind of, I have been moving world over, our GFCs, if is an IS officer. Now what administrators do is in the industry, I can't still understand. Government cannot think differently. Similarly, education institution thinks that they have to take some subject, which whether it is or not we learn. I think the most important part is we must have, like I am also lately, we must have incubator where new demands, new challenges are brought and worked on it. Look at our society. There is a huge demand suffering and there is a huge supply suffering. Both sides suffering. And there is nobody to connect. And here is the need of an entrepreneur. You have to look into producing entrepreneurs and incubator perhaps is the immediate answer. Over to
Yes. There, many of our students are fascinated by that Etsy.com and you can start your stall in 10 rupees. So they have a question that they have one of the students, Smith Patel, he want to ask that I got the idea of becoming a supplier, but what about the delivery of goods in current situation?
If he is an entrepreneur, he has to first work out the model where based on, I would say that he should look at his core competence and then look at the opportunities. Supposing if he thinks that Etsy is an opportunity and where he would like to make his career, start with something where there is a easy supply available. How we enter into subji market? With doctor, software engineers and me together, we are selling subji. Why do we have to do such kind of thing? The entrepreneurial thinking is entirely different. So first, we have to take him to think as an entrepreneur. He should possibly as they come. He cannot make himself. He should scan the environment and start where the supply is available. It's as simple as that.
Very true, sir. I hope you answered this query. Any more questions?
So there is a question from the Director Innovation in terms of what would you suggest for engineering college education to be at par with global standards? Can I answer that?
Of course, sir.
Okay. Straight away, the first thing is you get in people people who have studied abroad, some of them. Whatever are your educators, expose them to higher education abroad or in the best of the IITs or IIMs or the Indian Institute of Science. Once you have exposure, automatically the bar goes higher. because no change can happen in a day. Nothing can happen in a day. We don't want people to be, penalized for the ills of a system which has been existing. So if you want to really bring change, you need to start giving a time horizon and make sure that we start changing the whole thing by raising the standard continually. So what should happen is all fresh intakes which happen, we keep on increasing the standard. Now, how will that happen? If, let's say, now there is another part to it. Let's say all the faculties are of a level which is what we look at in the best of the places in Dresden or in Warsaw or in Czech Republic or in Washington or wherever. However, what we also need is that the right input or right people or the right students come in, which means that we have to have a change in the school, or if that is not possible again in the short horizon, at least the fresh joinees who come in the first year, a bulk of that time is spent in raising them up by giving them a booster, so that at least out of 4 years, in 3 years you can crash the course of engineering, and the first year you can bring them to the level, but that will require a huge amount of work and effort by everyone put together. That is, in my way, one way of looking at it. The second thing is to also involve, let's say, corporate experts who can come and talk and share as to what life is on the other side of the coin. I think one benefit of COVID times which can be done is, wherever you feel, let's say electrical engineering, if you define that these are the top 20 professors in the world, bring them on into a seminar now, because earlier to bring them into a seminar you had to spend money for their travel and back and stay and so on. But thanks to COVID, you don't have to spend, because even if you were to give the money, he won't come. But half an hour or 1 hour, they don't mind sharing on the webinar.
Yeah, very.
So I think that's one thing which you can really take advantage of. It is a bad time, but it's an excellent time, because the mindset of the whole society is undergoing a conditioning and change at one go. And that's very, very interesting. Today, for example, I used to go to Delhi, like you said, I travel a lot, but today what I find, I don't have to travel. I can go to Austria and come back within 1 hour. I can go to Delhi within half an hour and come back, because the guys are ready to talk on the phone because of the kind of condition that we are in. On one hand, I feel the lockdown should open up. On the other hand, at a strategic level, I feel if this lockdown continues for the next 90 days, it would actually be better for the whole generation, because you will have the prospect of everybody conditioned to a new normal.
So this actually leads to one more question, that as you rightly said that a lot of work from home is there. So is it going to become more of a permanent practice, or a part of it in permanent practice in the coming future after COVID also?
TCS is already mooting a formula wherein they will say that for the next 2 years we work from home. Our company also, probably we are wanting to think that why not, why can't we do that? Because it is easier, it is cheaper, it is safer, and what are we doing? When I go to office, I use the air conditioning of the office. When I work from home, I use my own air conditioning. So if my output remains the same, what's the problem?
Very true. It's a win-win.
To my mind, I think, let's say the young startup ecosystem, everybody used to struggle, the youngsters, that I don't have an office, where can I conduct a meeting? Big question.
Yeah.
They can give their, let's say, their own effort, the karma for free, let's say, because it's a startup. He is deep investing his own energy and, the tan, and dhan. But where does he organize a meeting? To go and organize a meeting in Welcome Group or in Express requires some money. But now, because of the situation, work from home is normal. You can actually have your meeting within the car itself, at the place of the person, or within through this technology route, and you are still on. It becomes an absolute game changer for the new young people who are short of money. So in my opinion, there would be a lot of changes which can happen and which should happen.
Yeah.
Another thing which I feel will happen now is, we will find the urban agglomerations or the middle classes and the richer classes will find intense competition from the rural India.
Okay.
Because the guys, the rural folks, they want to achieve something within a short time, while the richer classes, they are complacent that they have everything, they have got a good start, they have a silver spoon, and they are not, as a generation, they are not so pushy. Unlike those guys, they want to come up. The people at the bottom want to come up. So for India, it is going to be unleashing of these trends will actually benefit the whole society, in my opinion.
Very true, very true.
If you were to go and look at my LinkedIn, I have an article wherein I mention we should not be looking at $5 trillion. I have given a pathway as to how we can go for $20 trillion. Because India deserves, this generation deserves to really go up and do a China, what China did to US, we should do a China to China itself. We should really become the, not only the manufacturing hub of the world, we should become the service hub of the world as well.
Very true, very true. And in these times, the challenge we have is that intake we have as an educator is not that they are not smart. They are very smart, but they are not focused, and the Insta and other things took away most of their attention. So it is a challenge to us that how to get back their attention and get a better challenging work culture.
Sure.
So Mr. Birenchi Swen is having several questions. In a nutshell, he says that this COVID thing is a slap of nature to us. So the future jobs and entrepreneurship and all this should not be nature-centric. Shukla sir, can you answer this question?
Yeah, he's actually said it's a slap. But anything in the world, if you see, there are three sides. One is downside, another is upside, and something is in between. What he looks at, or what she looks at, that makes a difference. And that is why my presentation is the kind of model scalable and predictable are presented. And you can pick up anyone. The point is he's looking for a job